Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krishna. Canto 3, Chapter 13, Text 35. Rupam tadvaitananu dushkritatmanam dudarshanam devajat atvaratmakam shantam sijashya tvashi pahiromasva ajam drishti angrishu satuhotram.
Nidhi Mataji, please, the English translation. Thank you.
O Lord, Hare Krishna, O Lord, your form is worshipable by performances of sacrifice, but souls who are simply miscreants are unable to see it. All the Vedic hymns, Gayatri and others, are in touch of your skin. In your bodily hairs is the kusha grass. In your eyes is the clarified butter. And in your forelegs are the 4 kinds of fruitive activities.
Text 36. Prakunta ashit shriva ishanasayo idodare shamasak karnavantare prasitram ashye prasane grahastute yaksharvanam te bhagavan agnihotram.
O Lord, your tongue is a plate of sacrifice. Your nostril is another plate of sacrifice. In your belly is the eating plate of sacrifice, and another plate of sacrifice is the holes of your ears. In your mouth is the Brahma plate of sacrifice. Your throat is the plate of sacrifice known as Soma, and whatever you chew is known as Agni Hotra.
Text 37. Diksha no janmo Pasadashirodaram Tvam Prayaniya Yodayanyadam Sataha Jiva Pravakastava Shishaksharam Kritaha Sadyavasatyam Shitayo Savohiti.
Moreover, O Lord, the repetition of your appearance is the desire for all kinds of initiation. Your neck is the place for 3 desires, and your tusks are the result of initiation and the end of all desires. Your tongue is the prior activities of initiation. Your head is the fire without sacrifice, as well as the fire of worship. Your living forces are the aggregate of all desires.
Text 38. Somashtureta savananya vastitihi samstar vibeda stava deva datavaha satrani sarvani stari vrasande stvam sarva yakna kathur ishti bandanaha.
O Lord, just bear with me 1 second. O Lord, your semen is the sacrifice called Somaya Yagna. Your growth is the ritualistic performance of the morning. Your skin and touch sensations are the 7 elements of the Agnistoma sacrifice. Your bodily joints are symbols of various other sacrifices performed in 12 days. Therefore, you are the object of all sacrifices called Soma and Asoma, and you are bound by yagnas only.
Text 39. Namo namaste kila mantra devata dravya ya sarva pratave kritayatmane vairagya bhaktyat majaya nubhavita jnanaya vidya. Gurave Namo Namaha.
O Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead and are worshipable by universal prayers, Vedic hymns, and sacrificial ingredients. We offer our obeisance unto you. You can be realized by the pure mind, freed from all visible and invisible material contamination. We offer our respectful obeisances to you as the Supreme Spiritual Master of Knowledge in devotional service.
Damshragrakotya Bhagavan Strayadrita Virajade Bhutara Bhusabhutara Yatha Nisharato Tata Drutta Matan Gajendrashya Sapatra Patmini.
O lifter of the earth with its mountains, which you have lifted with your tusks, is situated as beautifully as a lotus flower with leaves sustained by an infuriated elephant just coming out of the water.
Text 41. Shayi Mayam Rupam Idam Shashakaram Bhumandale Nata Tatadritena Te Shakasti Shringotha Ganena Bhuyasa Kula Shalendrashya Yathaiva Vipramaha.
O Lord, as the peaks of great mountains become beautiful when decorated with clouds, your transcendental body has become beautiful because of your lifting the earth on the edge of your tusks.
Text 42. Samstapayenam Jagatam Satastusam Lokaya Patnimasi Mataram Pita Videma Shashyai Namasa Sahatvaya Yashyam Swatejo Nim Ivaranavataha.
O Lord, for the residential purposes of all inhabitants, both moving and non moving, this earth is your wife, and you are the Supreme Father. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you, along with Mother Earth, in whom you have invested your own potency, just as an expert sacrificer puts fire in the Arani wood.
Text 43. Kashradaditan yatatmastava prabho rasam gataya bhuva udvibarhanam na vismayo tvayi vishva vishmaye yo maya yetam sashreti vishmayam.
Who else but you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, could deliver the earth from within the water? It is not very wonderful for you, however, because you acted most wonderfully in the creation of the universe. By your energy, you have created this wonderful cosmic manifestation.
Text 44. Within Vata Vedamayam Nijam Vapur Janastapav Satya Nivasino Vayam Sata Shikoduta Shivam Bindubir Vim Prijyamana Prisham Isha Pavitaha.
O Supreme Lord, undoubtedly we are inhabitants of the most pious planets, the Jana, Tapas, and Satyalokas, but still we have been purified by the drops of water sprinkled from your shoulder hairs by the shaking of your body.
Text 45. Savaibata Brashta Matista Vaisate Yakarmanam Param Apara Karmanaha Yat Yogamaya Gunayoga Mohitam Vishvam Samastam Bhagavan Vitehisam.
O Lord, there is no limit to your wonderful activities. Anyone who desires to know the limit of your activities is certainly nonsensical. Everyone in this world is conditioned by the powerful mystic potencies. Please bestow your causeless mercy upon these conditioned souls.
Text 46. Maitreya Uvacha Iti upasthiyamanoऽsau munibhi brahmavadibihi salile swakurakranta upadatta vitavanam.
The sage Maitreya said, "The Lord, being thus worshipped by all the great sages and transcendentalists, touched the earth with his hooves and placed it on the water."
Text 47. Sahitam Bhagavan Urvim Vishwakshena Prajapatihi Dasaya Lila Yonitam Apsunyasya Yayo Harihi.
In this manner, the personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the maintainer of all living entities, raised the earth from within the water, and having placed it afloat on the water, he returned to his own abode.
Text 48. Ya evam etam harimetaso harehe tatham subhadram kadanyamayinaha shrinvita bhaktya shravayeta voshatim janadano syasu kriti prasidati.
If one hears and describes in a devotional service attitude this auspicious narration of Lord Bore, which is worthy of description, the Lord, who is within the heart of everyone, is very pleased.
Text 49. Tasmin prasanne sakala sisam prabho kim dulabam tabir alam lavatmabihi ananya drishtya bhajata gugashayah swayam vittate swagatim paraparam.
Nothing remains unachieved when the Supreme Personality of Godhead is pleased with someone. By transcendental achievement, one understands everything else to be insignificant. One who engages in transcendental loving service is elevated to the highest perfectional stage by the Lord Himself, who is seated in everyone's heart.
Text 50. Konama loke purushat sarvet purakantanam bhagavat katha sutam apya karnanjali bir bhavapaham paham aho viraj jeta vinanaretaram.
Who other than one who is not a human being can exist in this world and not be interested in the ultimate goal of life? Who can refuse the nectar of narrations about the personality of Godhead's activities, which by itself can deliver one from all material pangs?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Vatsala Mataji and Nidhi Mataji, for the beautiful recitations. Really nicely recited. Thank you so much. So, dear devotees, our facilitator, Prayagraj Prabhuji, will be joining us a bit later. He contacted me and informed me. So, while waiting for Prabhuji to join, I'll be reciting the Mangalacharan prayer. If you all would like to join me behind muted mics, it'll be very nice. So let's all pray very sincerely. Let's close our eyes and concentrate on this prayer. It's a beautiful prayer. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jyoti Mataji, for sharing the verses. What we'll do now, dear devotees, is to read today's verses that Prabhuji would be discussing a bit later on when he joins us. So the verses for discussion today are 36 up to 39. So I'd like some volunteers, please, to read the Sanskrit and the English translation and the purports as well, please. That would be nice. So who would like to start reading the Sanskrit verse, please? Any volunteers? Madhavi Mataji, would you like to start, please, with the Sanskrit verse? Okay, any other volunteers? Vatsala Mataji, how about you? Would you like to start reading the Sanskrit verse, please? Okay.
I'll try, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Usha Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Satra Tunga Asit Sutra Ishanasayo Rido Dare Chamsa Karnaranta Netire Prasitra Mashasya Grahane Grahastate Yacha Varnam Te Bhagavana Agni Hotram. Translation: O Lord, your tongue is a place of sacrifice. Your nostril is another plate of sacrifice. In your belly is the eating plate of sacrifice, and another plate of sacrifice is the holes of your ears. In your mouth is the Brahma plate of sacrifice. Your throat is the plate of sacrifice known as Soma, and whatever you chew is known as the Agnihotra. The Vedas say that there is nothing more than the Vedas and the performance of sacrifice mentioned in the Vedas. They have recently made a rule in the group of formally observed daily sacrifice. They simply ignite a small fire and offer something whimsically, but they do not strictly follow the sacrificial rules and regulations mentioned in the Vedas. It is understood that by regulation there are different plates of sacrifice required, such as Shak, Shurva, Barhis, Chaturhotra, Ida, Chamasa, Prasita, Graha, and Agnihotra. One cannot achieve the result of sacrifice unless one observes the strict regulation. In this age, there is a practically no facility for performing sacrifice in the strict discipline. Therefore, in this age of Kali, there is a stricture regarding such sacrifice. It is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirtan Yagna and nothing more. The incarnation of the Supreme Lord is Yagneshwara, and unless one has respect for the incarnation of the Lord, he cannot perfectly perform sacrifice. In other words, taking shelter of the Lord and rendering service unto him is the factual performance of all sacrifices. As explained herein, different plates of sacrifice correspond to the different parts of the body of the Lord's incarnation. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, it is explicitly directed that one should perform Sankirta Yagna to please the Lord's incarnation as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This should be rigidly followed in order to achieve the result of yagna performance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Usha Mataji. So nicely recited. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Amoga Prabhuji, would you like to read text number 37, please? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. When you're ready, please. Thank you.
दीक्षानुजन्मोपसदः शिरोधरं त्वं प्रायणीय उदयनीयदंष्टहं जिह्वा प्रवृत्त्यः तव शीर्षकं कृतोः सत्यावसत्यं च तयोः असवोहिते. Translation. Moreover, O Lord, the repetition of your appearance is the desire for all kinds of initiation. Your neck is the place for 3 desires, and your tusks are the result of initiation, and the end of all desires. Your tongue is the prior activities of initiation. Your head is the fire without sacrifice, as well as the fire of worship, and your living forces are the aggregate of all desires. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Pati Mataji, would you like to try text 38, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I'll try. Somastureta savanyani avastita samastha vibedasa tava deva tatava satrani sarvani sarta sandis tvam sarva yagna kratur isti bandhanam. Translation. O Lord, your semen is a sacrifice called Soma Yagna. Your growth in the ritualistic performance of the morning, your skin and touch sensations are the 7 elements of the Agni Stoma sacrifice. Your bodily joints are symbols of various other sacrifices performed in 12 days. Therefore, you are the object of all sacrifices called Soma and Asomas, and you are bound by yagnas only. Purport. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. There are 7 kinds of routine yagnas performed by all followers of the Vedic rituals, and they are called Agnisoma, Atyagnisoma, Ukta, Sodasit, Vajapeya, Atitrata, and Aptoryama. Anyone performing such yagnas regularly is supposed to be situated with the Lord. But anyone who is in contact with the Supreme Lord by discharging devotional service is understood to have performed all these different varieties of yagnas. Hare Krishna. Sorry, Mataji, I have to use my phone today, so I had to move the text around. Apologies.
That's okay, Mataji. Thank you all so much for your beautiful recitations. I believe that Prayagraj Prabhuji has joined us now. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Sorry, I was a little bit late, got stuck in traffic.
That's okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay, great. So, shall we start?
Yes, please. I've recited the Mangala Charan prayer already, and we have read all the 3 verses that you are going to discuss.
Oh, great,
So
great. So,
yes,
I will
thank
read
you.
the verses then. Okay. Thank you. You did great job for me.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, I will just, because you don't have to see my face, better to see the verses. So that's why I will share my screen. Is that okay, Jyoti Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, you can share your screen now.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess you all can see my screen, the verse.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can.
Okay, great, great.
But the writing is a bit small. Would you be able to increase the font, please?
Okay, yeah. Is that because of... Is that okay?
Oh, yes, that's much better. Thank you.
Okay. Straktunda asit struva ishanasayo idodare chamasaha karnarandre prashitramasse grasane grahastute yacchavarnam te bhagvanihotram. Very important verse to understand the emphasis of sacrifice in our scriptures. Yajna. So it is all struck the plate of sacrifice. Tunda is on the tongue. If you see the trunk of elephant, it is also called Tunda. That's why Ganesh is called Vakratunda Mahakaya. Anyway, we won't digress. So translation, O Lord, your tongue is a plate of sacrifice. Your nostril is another plate of sacrifice. In your belly is the eating plate of sacrifice. And another plate of sacrifice is the holes of your ears. In your mouth is the Brahma plate of sacrifice. Your throat is the plate of sacrifice known as Soma. And whatever you chew is known as Agnihotra. That's the end part. So let's quickly do the offer our respects to our spiritual master, and then we will start. Om Adnyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Kirim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Sri Guru Dinatare Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Paramananda. So this is a very important verse to discuss the Yuga Dharma. And Yuga Dharma is Sankirtan Yajna, which is emphasized by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu constantly. Agnihotra here, sacrifice is, what is the importance of sacrifice? Let's have a little bit of a discussions, and then we will come to a point of the emphasis of Kali Yuga sacrifice. So why sacrifices are important? I think over the so many sessions, all speakers must have given a lot of emphasis on why sacrifice is essential. Oh, the great personality Amok Prabhu is here. I think let's listen from him. This is so. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, and Srila Prabhupada. So sacrifices. So it is in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Krishna says that one has to perform the sacrifices as a matter of duty, and again, sacrifices in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance.
Yes.
Apart from that, as a matter of duty, and also our dharma is Savai Nivrit Dharmena Vasudevanukampaya Bhagavad Bhakti Yogena Tirodatte Seneriha. This is the Nivrit Dharma. In that Nivrit Dharma, we just give up everything.
Yes.
Then we spend not unnecessarily, but we engage everything in the devotion of Krishna for the pleasure of Krishna in such a way that would help us, and also it will help other living entities.
Yes.
So just a small reflection. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Prabhuji. Wonderful. Very excellent insight. Anyone else would like to add any reflections, anything more? No one? Okay. So sacrifice is the primary objective of sacrifice emphasized in Vedic literature is for purification. So everything we have, I should share some my personal experience. On Sunday morning, early morning, till 7:30, quarter to 8, from 5 o'clock, 4:30 to that. I do service in manner, the backup service. And the chanting and everything, people are chanting the holy name, and I'm running around there. And I can see that a lot of times people are so absorbed, they're in such a amazing mode of goodness. They're chanting, somebody is doing some service and all that. And automatically, you will see that because of that atmosphere, people start respecting each other more than usual in that particular atmosphere, because it's a very enriched atmosphere in the morning. And our head Pujari, Anand Gopal Prabhu, I asked him that in that very super respectful atmosphere, you can feel that mode of goodness a lot of times, means very easily in that atmosphere. So the downside of that mode of goodness is the person can easily feel that I deserve something, and there can be a pride. So how to work on that part, that the pride should not touch us? And he gave a very beautiful answer. He said, Prayagraj, everything we get, that money, that respect, that beauty, the knowledge, everything, is actually the opulence shared by the Lord. And it's a test that if we keep that everything and we think that I deserve it, that means we have failed in the test. But if we think that it is shared to me and I'm supposed to use his opulence to serve him, as Lord Brahma says in the 3rd canto, 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So every single facility given by the Lord, we are supposed to use that facility to worship him, to serve him, to spread his glories. And that is the main point of sacrifice. So everything given to us, if we refrain from sense enjoyment, if we refrain from our desires of from our senses and focus on the holy name. Today is the day of sacrifice, it's Ekadashi. So we are supposed to fast for a reason, that refraining ourselves from eating too much, or ideally not eating and drinking anything, and then focusing on chanting, focusing on Krishna Katha, focusing on devotee association and everything. That is the enrichment for the soul. And that's the main purpose of sacrifice. And as we can see, Satyayug, the type of sacrifice was different. It was mainly the meditation on Pranava Mantra, and the people, they could do thousands and thousands and thousands of years, the meditation on the sound vibration, the Pranava Mantra of the Lord. In Treta Yuga, Vedic literature became more and more available to people in Treta Yuga, and they started following more of a gaining the knowledge from the Vedic literature and using the surrounding facilities to serve the Lord. That was the more of a Treta Yuga way of living. In Dwapar Yuga, deity worship became more prominent, and then all the Vedic scriptures and literature was given or revealed to human being specifically for deity worship, all that personal interaction. Because the Shabda Brahma, which is there in the first 2 yugas, in Satya Yuga and Treta Yuga, that went down, and people, their material attachments became more intense. And that's the reason the emphasis was on deity worship. But in Kali Yuga, even the deity worship is not we can't do that properly. The chanting of the mantras is not proper. The standards of worship we can't follow properly. And there are a lot of illusory ideas floating around and so many complications. So the Yuga Dharma is chanting of the holy name. And that is what the Sankirtan Yajna is. And this whole purport you have read already, I guess. So it is all about the Sankirtan Yajna. So going back to the sacrifice part, even now, a lot of people think, or they strongly believe, that doing some sort of menial sacrifice will help them to gain more insight on sense gratification. So that is why demigod worship and all sorts of weird sacrifices happen there, as His Grace Amod Prabhu was saying, that sacrifice in mode of ignorance, mode of passion, and mode of goodness. Mode of goodness sacrifice elevates the consciousness towards the path of bhakti. Mode of passion, person becomes foolishly working more and more and more entangled. And mode of ignorance takes the person more towards the lower planets, towards the hellish planets, not the Bilaswarga, towards the hellish planet, because that sacrifice is worshipping the Bhuta, Preta, and all the what do you call Tantra. So we should be very careful about the idea of sacrifice, and that's what our acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, have emphasized time and again. Where do we spend our time? Where do we spend our money? Where do we spend our resources? Everything. So that's very carefully we need to work on. So it comes to the point of Agnihotra, which is a final culmination of sacrifice. Different ingredients offered in the plate to the Lord. That's what their description is in this translation. But what it comes to is just change the dark. So Agnihotra is the Yajna Kunda, is the mouth of the Lord Vishnu, and then Ahuti, which is given in that Yajna Kunda, Lord accepts that, and Varahadev, Lord Varahadev, here the rishis are offering the prayers, and they are saying that whatever you chew is known as Agnihotra. How Lord chews that, how he accepts that. We will come to that very important point little later. So, sacrifice of material possessions for detachment from our desires and developing spiritual desires is the basis behind sacrifice of the material possessions. In Kali Yuga, all these sacrifices are not applicable, which are more ritualistic. Yajna and chanting of the mantra and everything. There are very, very few people, almost negligible number of people who can actually chant the mantra properly. Even if you see Rigved is chanted in a certain, all the verses from the Rigved. Om tad Vishnu parampadam sada pashyanti suryaha divya chakshuratatam tad viprasho vipanvayo jagarvamsha samidhante Vishnoryat parampadam. This is a verse from the Rigved. And it has to be chanted in certain meter at certain times. So if you see the Brahmins earlier, they were designated as what paksha, what is the Upanishads they were supposed to chant, and they were supposed to impart that knowledge to the disciples. So there are two types of Upanishads. One is Shukla Upanishad and second is Krishna Upanishad. So where the Brahman is based, that is the stha used to come towards the end of that type of Brahman. Kayastha, Deshastha, and all that. And then Krishna Pakshiya or Shukla Pakshiya. So accordingly, they were supposed to chant certain Upanishads. Again, then there is a further shakha, there is a further division in that. So that was Madhyana Shakhiya, Pratah Shakhiya, Sandhya Shakhiya. So those were again categories of the Brahman. Madhyana Shakhiya will chant the mantra suitable for the middle part of the day. Pratah Shakhiya will chant the mantras for the morning part of the day, and Sandhya Shakhiya for the evening. And accordingly, those Brahmins were segregated. So you can imagine that such a rigid requirements are there for the sacrifice, for chanting of the mantra, and what to offer at what point of time. Very, very detailed technical aspects are there of the chanting and following certain yajna, the sacrificial fire, and what to offer in that. So in Kali Yuga, the sacrifice is Sankirtan Yajna. And in Bhagavad Gita, Lord says that very categorically, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantasya Drudavrataha. He says that the person who chants the holy name, chants my glories constantly, with a Drudavrata, with firm faith, with the firm regulations. Namasyantasya Mam Bhaktya Nityayukta Upasati. So he gives the insight of how that upasana should be, how a person should be following that devotional practice. Now, what is the... There was some question answer a few days back that in this age as well, some people will say that you have to chant everything properly. So no, in Kali Yuga, because it's an age of degradation, Mandasu Manda Matayo Manda Bhagya. So Lord has given discount that even if you can't pronounce anything properly, still some people may say Hare Krishna. Krishna is, when A comes towards the end, actually that is the name of Draupadi. Hare Krishna is the name of Krishna, is the name of the Lord. But Lord accepts that Krishna as well, because he's a Bhavagrahi Janardana. And he knows in Kali Yuga, people will come up with all sorts of complications, problems, inabilities, and all that. So he accepts that, okay, you're chanting Hare Krishna, yes, I will accept it. And that's why Sankirtan Yajna is why it is best, because Lord has given the discount. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that time and again. Nama nama kari bahudani jasarva shaktis tatrarpitani amita smarane mukhala. There is no regulation of time, no regulation of place, and even how you chant, but just keep chanting the holy name. So that is the importance of Sankirtan Yajna. Srila Radhanath Maharaj has given a very beautiful insight. It comes from our Acharya. Mahaprabhu himself says that Krishna himself is saying this actually, that holy name is actually more merciful than the Lord himself. And why? Because personal interaction with Lord, either killing or favoring by the Lord, is very one-to-one. But the person who is hearing the holy name, who is chanting the holy name, they both get purified. They both get benefited. And that's why we have Sankirtan party going on a road and chanting the holy name of the Lord. Srila Bhakticharu Maharaj says another very important point in this particular perspective. He says that Sankirtan Yajna is to use everything we have in the service of the Lord. So while doing that, when we are serving the Lord, as even sweeping the temple or cooking for the Lord, we are listening the glories of the Lord. Somebody puts the lecture or a kirtan, and in that mood we are cooking for the Lord. So obviously that is also a type of remembrance of the Lord constantly. So that is also one dimension of Sankirtan Yajna. So while doing that, we are glorifying the Supreme Lord. While preaching, we remember the Lord. We have to explain the glories of the Lord. In fact, we remember the Lord while doing any service, which is direct service to the Lord. And that is the purification of consciousness. If somebody is working in office, but at the back of that person's mind, if he or she is saying that, yes, this is because this is my prescribed duty given in this body, and that's why I'm doing it. It's not for my own sense gratification or for my own requirements. So that's also indirectly you are contributing to Sankirtan Yajna. And all our acharyas have emphasized time and again these all different dimensions of Sankirtan Yajna. Srila Shivaram Maharaj in Navavraja Mahima, he gives a very beautiful details of how every service, as Prabhupada's favorite quote, dovetailing what we have to the service of the Lord. How that works in terms of the Sankirtan Yajna. Our acharyas have given a very encouraging details of that. They say that it is Sankirtan Yajna is always a win-win situation. Preacher gets purified, listener gets purified. The people who are unintentionally hear the holy name, they also get purified. Everyone gets some or other benefit, Ajnat Sukruti or the direct benefit. So, irrespective of their status or the body the person has received. And what that means is if somebody eats prasad, because that prasad is cooked by a devotee while listening the holy name of the Lord, that also affects the consciousness, and that is the Ajnat Sukruti. In one, I think recently I was listening to Srila Prabhupada's lecture in our temple room. And Prabhupada gives a very beautiful insight how prasad works on our consciousness. Very, very amazing insight he gives about how the person gets drawn towards the lotus feet of the Lord. So, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Again, in this part, in Kali Yuga, people will not understand the importance of Varnashram Dharma, but still people will talk about these four categories and how that helps in this particular context. So we will touch upon that a little bit. So imagine if they play their roles properly. If Brahmana gives a very good education, they set up the standards and of education and give the right advice to all other three classes. The objective will be that every single person around them is spiritually enriched. Their development will continue. And that is why Brahmana's role is to bring people towards the lotus feet of the Lord by giving the Yuga Dharma, by giving the emphasis on the Yuga Dharma. Kshatriya, by taking consultation from Brahman, Kshat means harm, and Trayate iti. So somebody who actually protects the people from harm is Kshatriya. If that person also follows the responsibility by taking the right care or in terms of their administration and whether people are doing their prescribed duties properly and bringing them towards the Vedic culture of chanting the holy name and being participated in Sankirtan Yajna. Very important. And the same can follow about the money matters for the Vaishya, where to spend, how to spend, and how to donate, how to purify. So in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, you all know the pastimes about the Govardhan Leela. So when Krishna says to Nanda Maharaj that why do we have to do this sacrifice for Indra? And Nanda Maharaj gives the explanation, and then Lord says that no, we will just worship the Govardhan here. If we see that, if we try to understand the reason behind it, that why Lord emphasizes about the sacrifices. If we read those verses, he says that everything is for the worship of Vishnu. And as soon as as His Grace Anand Gopal Prabhu's example I was giving, as soon as we start using all the facilities given to us for the sacrifice, unknowingly our consciousness gets purified as well. And every person will see the result eventually, means in due course of time. And that's quite an important point we need to keep in mind. So it is our responsibility to spread this movement by participating in Sankirtan Yajna, by donating some percentage of our earnings, by exemplifying by our own example. And that way, non-devotees will automatically get attracted, because everyone wants to have that sweet relationship. Happiness starts with that sweet relationship. And when devotees will demonstrate that behavior of sweet relationship, even non-devotees will get automatically attracted. They will become curious to know more about the Lord and His devotees and the glories of the movement. When there is a famous quote by one of the very senior God brothers, he says that when theistic people behave like an atheist, that starts increasing of atheism, the atheistic behavior in a society. So theistic person is, of course, we know what are the qualities of atheists and what are qualities of theists. Daiva Asura Sampada Vibhag Yog, which is the chapter in Bhagavad Gita where Lord explains what are the qualities of atheists and theists, the 16th chapter. So, and then obviously what is the food, that is the 17th chapter, Shraddhatraya Vibhag Yog. So we can get the details of that very easily there. We won't touch upon that. So spiritual literature needs to be presented in various ways of communication. And what that means is, as Prabhupada emphasizes constantly on this point, that in the current age of digitization and artificial intelligence and everything, we have even more responsibility, and we need to take more ownership of how we can bring spiritual literature at the forefront or in media. Because preaching is very essential, and book distribution is important. But other than that, as we just talked about, exemplifying ourselves, developing those refined spiritual qualities, and attracting people for that relationship is very important. Radhesham Prabhu always emphasizes on very important point. He says, Lord is watching us, everything. Lord is watching everything what we do. Everywhere He is there with us. He knows our dedication. He knows our efforts. So if we are serious in His mission, he will provide everything to spread this movement, to spread his glories, because he wants all his children, all the jivatmas to go back to him. And if we have taken that responsibility, he will definitely empower, and he will give more and more facilities and tools for that. So if we come to the in this verses you have gone through, so if in the last verse, which is 39th, I think, that is that's an important verse about it's very poetic and very, very beautiful verse. So, O Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead and are worshipable by universal players, Vedic hymns and sacrificial ingredients. We offer our obeisances unto you. You can be realized by the pure mind, freed from all visible and invisible material contamination. We offer our respectful obeisances to you as the supreme spiritual master of knowledge in devotional service. Namo namaste khila mantra devata dravyaya sarva pratave kriyatmane vairagya bhaktatma jayanubhavita jnanaya vidya guruve namo namaha. Very, very beautiful, very poetic verse. And then here Srila Prabhupada gives emphasis on the 10th verse from Chatushloki Gita, Tesham Sattva-yuktanam bhajatam priti-purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayante. That's the promise by the Lord himself. So by reciting these prayers, our heart gets softened, the softening of our heart starts, and when the heart is purified from all those 6 enemies, kama, krodha, lobha, mada, moha, matsar, we develop the sense of humility and gratitude. And when Shukadeva Goswami started reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, he started reciting many prayers. And in one of the prayers, he says that about the Lord, he is a Va Baruka. It means that one who says everything with complete wisdom, the completeness, it's completely pleasing. It's a pure sweetness. And it's ever fresh. It never becomes stale. Any literature we see, material literature, after a few years or after a few decades, it becomes stale because it's not relevant to that. It doesn't remain contemporary. But whatever Lord has said, it's always ever fresh and has various layers of knowledge. And ultimately, there is a sense of pure love for the receiver of whatever Lord has spoken. And he reveals himself in the heart of the devotee. And that's what this prayer, if we keep reciting prayers like this, then Srila Prabhupada is giving that emphasis here by bringing this shloka in this particular purport. Once there is a one interesting statement one Rishi said to his to people. They were listening to him, and he said that look in the mirror, observe yourself, and you will find happiness. And some people who had that impure consciousness, very covered consciousness, they went in front of the mirror and they thought that this body is very beautiful, and they observed themselves and they said, okay, as long as I can take care of this body and look after myself and my body, I will be happy. And what they found, what they came across constantly is all miseries. Then there are second category of people who are the spiritually inclined people. They said that no, what that means is I'm not this body. There is some spirits, there is some spark behind this body that I need to understand. So what I am looking in the mirror is the mirror of my consciousness. So I need to observe what is the nature of that soul. And if I understand that, then I will find happiness. So you can clearly see here that it is a consciousness of Brahmavadi, which is the first step, which is not bad. And then when a devotee saw that, it's my whole existence is, this body is just an instrument given by the Lord to serve him. Jivera Swarupa Krishna Nityadas. So this body is temporary, but why not use it for the service of the Lord? And three types of people. So you can see here the change of consciousness. And that statement coming from the Rishi, obviously the Lord within his heart, he said that, and we can see that where the Vabaruka comes in the picture here, that whatever Lord speaks, it has multiple dimensions. According to the consciousness, the person will absorb it and they will work on it. The person can work on it. So the example given here is why we should follow the scriptures and not our own concoction as per the consciousness. And the example is very interesting. If somebody is unwell, that person goes to the doctor and he says, "Doctor, I want to get recovered." And doctor will give, this is the pill, or this is the syrup. You take it in your, you consume that, and it may have some bitter or some bad taste, but you take it. If the person starts asking question and arguing, doctor will say, "Okay, you don't take it, then it's your choice, whimsical." But if the person accepts it, then after some time, the person will get recovered. Why? Because the doctor has given the medicine which is appropriate for that person. In the same way, if we take the scriptures or the sacrificial procedures, Sankirtan Yajna, how to chant and what to do, how to serve in our temple and devotees. Why it is said that if we accept it as it is, as a medicine, the effects will be there. Like the finest silk and ghee, the clarified butter, ghrita, and so many fruits and everything was offered in the yajna earlier. Why it is done? How Lord eats that? What is that Agnihotra? How he choose that? Is we will not understand. But Lord has said, "This is how I will accept the sacrifice," and the person will see the results, because that will help the detachment from for that soul from these material activities. And Lord within his heart, that person's heart, will work on the purification and take the person towards happiness. So that is the reason I think we have to take another important point in our sadhana, is we are always dependent on the Lord and his devotees. If somebody thinks of independence, that means the person is trying to be Krishna himself. That is the nature of envious person, because we are eternally dependent on the Lord and his mercy and his devotees. So that automatically develops the sense of gratitude and humility. And that is why in our scriptures, Sripad Rupa Goswami says, it is a bhakti lata. Lata means the creeper. Creeper is never independent. Creeper needs some support to go up. So that is why bhakti lata bij is the bij of a bhakti, and that creeper will go up. So very important point we need to keep in mind when we are offering prayers like this, and that prayer is showing how dependent we are on the Lord. So that's an important point here. I thought of bringing up. So we need to have deep understanding of the principle of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. This practice of following devotional process, that is regulated lifestyle, develops the consciousness and frees us from the six enemies, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Moha, Matsara. And this will help us to understand the voice of Lord within our heart, which will take us towards our final destination. That is the path of happiness. And that's the whole reasoning behind these prayers, that we are trying to connect and offer our dependence towards the ultimate independent Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we'll stop here. Are there any questions or comments? No questions, no comments. Oh, Prabhu, would you like to add anything, or you always have the pearls of wisdom to add?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So beautiful, Prabhuji. It is a nectarian class. Nice to hear all these instructions from you. I'm just relishing a katha from you, Prabhuji. So I'm just hearing. Really. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very beautiful. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Always nice to have your presence. One day I'm looking forward to have your personal association and relish Krishna Katha. Let's see when it happens.
Looking
Yeah.
forward for it, Prabhuji. Me too. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Sure. Hare Krishna. Anybody else would like to have any additions, reflections, questions, comments? Nothing? Okay. Thank you very much. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha.
कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Such a nice class. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the nice class.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Jyotimata ji, we can close the session.